Evening, everyone. Hope you're all safe and well, and thanks so much for coming in. And welcome to our chat with Intuitive Medium. I hope I've said that right, Mandy. Intuitive Medium, and the founder of Ghost Sisters, Mandy Cummings. Thanks very much for coming in, Mandy.
Hi, thanks for having me on. It's a
It's
pleasure.
good. It's good to meet sort of camera to camera at last. You know, basically. Hopefully, we did have a couple of wee sound issues, but we think it's been worked out now, folks. So it's all good. So, how are you?
Hi, I'm
How
good.
how's things over the other side of the pond?
Good, really
Good,
good.
good. So you are an intuitive medium,
Yes, and
right? Now I'm going to go totally silly here and probably thick. Well, is there a difference between an intuitive medium and a medium? I know you get various types. What's like an intuitive medium?
um, an intuitive medium is it's just where I can pick up on things that's going on around people. Like if I've never met a person or just looking at you, I'd be able to like get a feeling on what's going on with you or around you. Or I'm I'm a Cancer sign, and Cancer signs are ruled by the moon. We are very intuitive people, so we're just very good at knowing things, clear knowing. Knowing what's going on with someone, knowing how they're feeling, knowing what's. Sometimes I get things like knowing what's to come, what's going to come up for somebody too. So that's where the intuitive part comes in for me.
Right, I get that sometimes. I've not all the time. Hi, Wayne and Colleen. That sometimes I can meet a person for the first time, in life, and within about 5 minutes, I can tell you what that person's like.
Yep.
You know, the likes or dislikes, whatever. When I've been out with Sarah, my partner, a couple of times, I've bumped into people and you just, I don't know what, I can't explain it. You just start getting these kind of feelings or thoughts in your head about this person you've just met, basically. I don't know if it's a good thing or not, actually. You know, have you ever had any problems with it?
Uh, well, it just depends, what I'm doing. If I'm out and about and I'm around a certain person, I can pick up on their energy. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
even have to know the person, and I could just be standing next to someone and know right away. You just, picking up on the energy on that person. If they're negative, if they're positive, it just depends. And when I'm doing readings, I'm channeling, so I'm really picking up on that person's energy by
Mm-hmm.
channeling. And it's really interesting how I tie it all together with the mediumship and everything, but it goes hand in hand for me.
So can you turn it off and on?
Yes, yes. It took me a while to do this, but yes, but there is times when I'm out and I have had spirit come through for someone, and I don't want them to come through, but they're like just right there nagging at me. And I've
Mm-hmm.
had to say something to somebody, a stranger that I've never met before. But it had to be said, and they enjoyed it because it was usually their loved one coming through.
I've spoken with a few mediums, over the months, and a couple of them have told me they could maybe go to the supermarket and they start picking up on all these spirits all around them, and they need to tell them, look, this is my time,
Hmm.
this is my time out, so go away, in a polite manner. Are you the same kind of way?
Hmm. It's the same for me. If I go to the store, I try not to let spirit tap into me like that. But I've had weird things happen, like in the store. I would have things fall over in front of me, and I know it's like spirit trying to get my attention. And I mean, this would be something that wouldn't even be hanging on the edge or be on the back of the shelf, and it just for no reason just flying off the shelf. But that's just my way that they're trying to get my attention. But it doesn't happen a lot because, like I said, I don't leave myself open all day like that. Just usually when
Mhm.
I'm dancing with people.
I think at the end of the day, I've always been the maybe I'm wrong, it's just my opinion, the understanding that that's all spirit want, basically, is to be, well, one of the things that spirit want is to be acknowledged, for somebody to know they're still, hanging around, they're still there.
Mhm.
Laura's got a question for you. I'll put it up. Laura's one of our team.
Oh, yes, I do. I have connected with animal spirits when I do live readings. I get a lot of spirits that'll come through. I've even gotten names, and I knew they were cremated. Just knew what kind of dog it was. I would describe the animal. Actually, during the investigation last night, I'm pretty sure there was a cat that kept going by my ankles last night, and I was picking up on that. It kept brushing right by my ankles.
Did you not mention that something was touching your legs, your ankles, something like that? You did.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple of questions for you straight away, and we just started. Laura, sorry, Laura just asked that question. She picks up on animals as well. She can pick up on spirits and animals. You one for Gail, she's part of our team as well. How did you find out you had your medium talents?
Oh, good question. Well, I've always had experiences with spirits ever since I was probably 9 or 10. I would feel things around me, but at that young age, I didn't understand what was going on. I was just scared of certain things. But as I got older, I started having spirits trying to reach out to me. They would talk to me. They would use electronics to contact me. I mean, it goes on and on. And I didn't know I was a medium. I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm living in a lot of haunted locations here, because it was like everywhere I lived, I was having things happen. I didn't know I was a medium. I was always intrigued with the paranormal and the mediumship side, but I did not know until I had a reading by a lady, and she said, "You know that you're very gifted." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, this is why you hear the spirits, and they're trying to reach out to you." And I was just blown away by that. You hear that, but it's like, really? Um, so later on in life, my daughter started having experiences, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it started to get crazy." She started hearing and seeing spirits, and they were coming to her in her dreams. And I thought, "Oh my gosh, maybe she's getting this from me, because of what I've been told and everything that I've had happening to me." I thought maybe my daughter had inherited something here. So I ended up getting I met a guy who ended up mentoring me for a whole year, and he was from the UK. He mentored me. He was telling me, "Mandy, you're a medium." He goes, "And I can mentor you, and I can help you, and I will help you, and you can help your daughter." So that's how it all started for me. And that was probably almost like 4 or 5 years ago. And all the stuff that happened to me in my past, I now understand. Everything makes sense. Why I was hearing the spirits, and why they kept trying to get my attention, and all the crazy stuff that went on. It all makes sense to me now.
I've got another 3 questions lined up for you, but just what you were saying there, Mandy, it's weird to say it, because I've been told before, I'm a sensitive and whatever, but I don't class myself as anything. Sometimes I'll pick up on something, sometimes I won't. I can go for weeks and weeks and not pick up anything. But years ago, I was actually before mobile phones were invented. The landline would ring, and I could tell you who was phoning. See, my ex-wife, I used to say, "That's your mum on the phone. That's your sister." And she used to say, "How do you know that?" I said, "I don't know." And it worked every single time like this. And I ended up making a joke, "Oh, it's your mum's ring. That's how I know it." But obviously it was the same ring for everybody else. And then there was times I could be sitting with somebody, and I could tell you what they were going to say, in about 10, 15, and, later on they would turn around and say it. And I went to a spiritualist church one night, and I was a medium who told me, "You've got a gift, and you keep finding books on this gift," which was absolutely true. I went to the library. The first time I went, the lady says, "I've only got one book on spiritualism, etc." Took it home, read it, took it back, and I found another book. But this happened about 5 or 6 times. Nobody knew this. I never told anybody. And this lady says, you keep finding books. I says, I will.
That's
good.
awesome. Well, here's the thing. Everybody has the abilities. Everybody has these abilities, but they shut them down at a young age. I had also had some tragic things that had happened to me at a young age. So I really think that like opened me up, because when you have things like maybe someone had almost died, things like that can really open people up. But the younger generation, younger kids, their parents are telling them when they try to tell them that they're seeing things or hearing things, and the parents constantly tell them, oh, it's just your imagination. They end up shutting it down. They block it. And then that's what happens to a lot of these people. As for me, I've always been open to it. And so here we go. Here we are. But the reason why I label myself as the intuitive medium is so people, when I do what I do on Facebook, social media, is so they know that I am a medium. If I was to just put I'm a gifted person, they wouldn't understand what I'm doing, most of the people. And I've always known people to label themselves as just another way. It really wouldn't matter to me if it wasn't for social media. But for me to do what I'm doing, I let people know that, intuitive medium.
But I've got another three or four questions. I'll just say hi to Joan, Jacqueline, Donna, Sarah's here as well, Tally's here, Wayne Miles, Stephen, Gail, Laura. Stephen's got a question for you. I think I'll just let the chat ask you the questions and see we one after the other. Good, When you make a paranormal experiments, it can be easily manipulated like a human pendulum spirit board.
Do you think Well, you have to be really careful when you're using those things. They can be manipulated, yes. So I have seen it done, but it's all about the intentions when you're using the pendulums and the spirit board. It's all about the intentions, and it can be done. People do manipulate them, but if like someone like me, I also do spiritual writing. So again, I'm channeling, and it's actually like using a Ouija board. The spirits are using me to write. And if you've ever seen me do my spiritual writing, they are manipulating me. They're using me as a tool, and they move my body and I write. It's really interesting, but it can be, they are good tools to use. Yes, you can use the spirit board and the pendulum. I do. I use them all.
Bill Fritz says hello to you.
Hi, Bill.
So do you think they can be easily manipulated, these like human pendulum, for instance? I've watched it a few times, and do you think that people can maybe get it, the person in the middle can maybe get it into their head that maybe they need to move, or it's because their eyes are closed? And I've seen some with headphones on, some without. Maybe it's a sensory thing as well, that they tend to sway back and forward.
Yeah. Spirits can definitely use you as a tool, most definitely.
Wayne, can you pick up things while watching someone else's live ghost hunt?
I have, yes. But, it's my opinion on what I'm picking up. Somebody might not believe what I'm picking up. But again, it's just, my opinion, what I'm receiving, what I'm hearing.
Have you ever felt fear from a spirit?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. I have had crazy things happen. Even before I started doing mediumship and doing the paranormal, I've actually can recall maybe 3 or 4 times in my life where I have felt like something was holding me down and I couldn't move. But they say that could be, sleep. What is it called? Where it's paralyzes or something like that. Sleep something.
Sleep paralysis.
Yes, that. But to me, I found out later in life that I don't believe that's what was happening with me because of all the stuff that was happening and the stuff that was going on in the house that I would live in. And it seemed like I would have something negative around me. The closer I would get into my Bible, the closer I would get to God, it was like I would get more negative things happening around me. And that's when I would start to experience that. And I would have to grab my Bible and actually lay it on my chest and it would stop, whatever this thing was. So, and I've been on locations during paranormal investigations, and actually, I can't say that I actually ran into something demonic or anything, but I've had weird things happen. And I'm pretty sure I've been scratched maybe twice in 4 years, but nothing. I didn't feel like it was demonic. I just felt like it was spirit trying to get my attention. But we have been in a lot of locations where there has been negative things, most definitely, that have really scared me. But I feel really protected. I really do.
Have you ever actually sort of ran out of a building saying I'm never going back there again?
Oh no. When I get something that scares me like that, I want to go. I want to keep going.
That's what I was going to say. I've spoke to a few people and they say, I'm out here, I'm out there kind of thing. But I think I was told Stephen actually was in the chat. We had him on last night. I've been out a couple of times with Stephen, and it's a kind of, and I was talking to another gentleman, Charlie, who's on a TV series over there, and over here, sorry, and they were saying the same thing. If you get somewhere and it's maybe dark and creepy, and you get this kind of fear kind of thing, it's a more a tingle, and you do want to carry on. You want to get down that tunnel or into that room or wherever it is. There's Laura's put a comment. Obviously, Laura can pick up on animals.
Wow, that was very nice. Oh wow, that is awesome.
She
I
is.
love when I connect with animals. I've actually connected with my animals that have passed away. It's crazy.
She's quite good at picking animals up. So, also you realise that, after you got your kind of awakening, you were told you're a medium and what have you. How did your life change majorly then, or?
Oh yes, yes. My life has changed since I started to become more spiritual and doing investigations. I really felt guided. I really felt all these things that have been happening to me throughout my life. It all ties together with everything I'm doing now. All the experiences from my younger years to my teenage years to my adult, years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all of it ties in together. I got into the mediumship. I didn't even know I could do spiritual writing until one day I was getting this urge to do spiritual writing. It was like spirit was saying, do writing, do writing. And next thing you know, I was doing the writing. And next thing you know, I am starting a team. I was being guided all this time down this path and I didn't even know it. But now looking back, it all makes sense to me why everything is going the way it's going. I am definitely going down the right path that I'm supposed to be going on.
Excellent. That's good. So your spirit writing. Obviously you're sitting down, you get your pad and your pencil, whatever. What's happening when you're sitting there with the pen? Are you hearing it in your are you getting it picking up in your head, or is it your hand? I know that's a silly question. I've never met anybody that can do it before, so see, this is how we learn. We're just asking different questions. What exactly happens?
Well, it's kind of like that. Sometimes I will, when I'm channeling with the lower energies, and when I say lower energies, that's the energies that have not crossed over yet. They're the
Mm-hmm.
ones that are here. So I'm able to channel with them, and it's the weirdest thing. I will know when they start writing before they even finish. It's like I already know what they're going to say, and sometimes I don't even finish the writing because it comes to me. I already know. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really interesting how it all works. It really is, because I felt like spirit wanted me to do the writing, to do something different with my paranormal investigations, and that's what I like to do. I don't like to know anything about the location. I want to go in knowing nothing, and I'll take 10 minutes and I'll do writing, and then I'll take the writing and I try to, as I'm investigating, try to compare it to my writing to see if any names come up, just whatever I get in the writing. I really, it's weird, but I really felt like that was meant for me to learn how to do. And I just love it. I love channeling.
Steve's got. I said, thanks for that, because I've never met anybody who could actually do it. So obviously I was interested how it actually works. So your favourite location you've been investigated?
Ooh, my favorite place is the Shrine in Tennessee. It's in Bristol, Tennessee, and it's called the Ura Shrine. It is a private location, and the guy who owns it, he is a what do you want to call him? He's like he's someone who like balances the good and bad things, the yin and the yang, so to speak. So his location, he has multiple things at this at his place. He deals with Japanese. He has pagans. I mean, you name it. He's a really amazing man. So this location has different things, witches, everything, not just spirits from the past, but spirits from today and elements. I mean, you name it. This place is very haunted. I had a lot of experiences that happened there. I had things manifest on me there. I had things follow me from this location and growl at me at my house, and oh.
That was going to be one of my questions. Have you ever had something follow you home? So you've just kind of answered that one from Gail's got one about a question about the fear.
How do I manage that? I just keep visualizing, the white light around me, my spirit guides and angels protecting me. When I feel like something's negative around me, I try not to show too much fear, but it's kind of hard when you're out there investigating because you can feel it, you can sense that, and it's really hard. So you got to really be strong. So depending on how I felt that day, if I'm going into a location really tired and there's something real negative there, I'm not as powerful as I would be if I had more energy, if that makes sense. They pick up on that. If I'm not in a good mood, they can pick up on that, and it can get a little out of whack, a little crazy.
As Gail's one of our team, she just recently joined us. She's been out in 2 investigations, Gail, maybe 3, I lose track. So she was kind of all new. She'd watched ghost shows and that, on TV, but the actual experience itself, and she's had a couple of eventful investigations coming up. Stuff we kind of picked up on, but she is doing well. She's sorry, she's telling me 3 investigations she's been on. Sorry, Gail, I thought it was 2. She is doing well, and her husband as well comes out and he's doing well also. You ever did other sad news to someone from spirit?
Oh yes, that's a good question too. Yes, I have. During readings, I've delivered a lot of sad messages from spirit. Spirit can, I also believe I'm also a little bit of a physical medium because I do feel how spirit felt before they passed. And depending on how they passed, I will feel that. And it makes me sad. And then I deliver messages to that person, and it's very sad. I've also gone into locations where I've ended up giving someone who was there a reading, and it was very sad, heartful. That person started crying, but I had a message to deliver. So this would be like we went into a restaurant, actually in Galion, Ohio. We investigated a restaurant, and there was a lady who knew that my team was coming, and they were the people that owned the restaurant was like, you need to talk to her. She's a medium. You need to talk to her. Well, I ended up giving this lady a reading before we did the investigation, and I'm outside giving her a reading, and it was very sad. She was crying. She was very upset, but she was happy at the same time.
She got the message over. Crazy question Craig's Laura's husband.
Do you feel your abilities scare you at first, and how did you learn to control that fear? Yes, I did. Because when you're first tapping into this, and the more you open that door, because as soon as you open the door, anybody can come through. Um, yeah, it was fearful for me because sometimes I would hear weird things coming through. Um, I've heard like screaming. I've heard people yelling my name. Just multiple things coming through, different things. It was kind of scary at first, but I kind of got used to it, and I'm not scared of it anymore. No, I haven't
When,
really had nothing. I wouldn't say like this is how I look at it. When I do when I give a mediumship reading, how you are in life is how you are in spirit. So if you're a mean person, you're going to be mean in spirit. And I've had angry spirits come through to me when I'm giving people readings. Yes. If you're a good person, you're going to be a good person in spirit.
I've said that in many, my understanding, and I've said in quite a few lives, is the only difference between us and a spirit is they don't have a physical body. That's the only difference. We're still the same, thoughts, personality, everything else. You take all that with you, wherever it is you go. The only thing you leave behind is your body, basically.
Yes.
That's the way I always look at it. Deborah Miller's got a comment for you, Mandy.
Oh, yes.
Using gifts she has.
Yeah.
Gail is asking how to go about getting a reading off you.
Oh, Gail, you can reach me on my Intuitive Medium page, and you can just send me an inbox, and I will go. We'll go from there. We'll schedule you a reading depending on how long you want. The longest readings I do is 60 minutes, and the shortest readings I do is 30 minutes.
Ryan
I also
Thompson.
do a lot of live readings too, so you can catch a lot of my live readings. Like I actually got a live reading I got to do tonight at 5:30 my time Eastern. I will be going live on another page, Appalachian Memes, that has over 1 million people on there. So I usually every Sunday I get on there and I do live readings. So she can you might get lucky and get a reading it just depends. There's hundreds of people that jump on, or you can catch me sometimes during the week doing live readings on my Intuitive Medium page. And if you don't want to do that, you can just inbox me and we'll schedule you something.
It's 5:30 your time, so that's. See, we deal a lot with the States, and I've always said this to a lot of people. I don't mean it disrespectful, but your country is so big, and there's all different time zones. And see, trying to keep track, everybody's different time zone. So, I mean, it's 9:30 p.m. here just now. What time have you got there just now?
It is 4:32 p.m. here.
So your live reading would be at 5:30 p.m. It'd be 10:30 here. Right, got that. Hi Frankie, pal. I just have another comment for you there.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. And thank you for your talent. Those that need it. So you're also the founder of Ghost Sisters as well.
Yes, I am.
And you look like a funky bunch of ladies in a good way. I mean, not in a bad way. You only have how did Ghost Sisters come about?
Ghost Sisters came about we started I started the team 4 years ago in October, and it would have been 2017. I just actually retired early from law enforcement back in May, so I was almost 8 years in law enforcement. There was another girl that started this with me, and she was an officer with me, a corrections officer. And I remember telling her about us going to go to do an investigation at the Mansfield prison here in Ohio. But she couldn't make it, so I had my sister go. And after I did that first investigation, we weren't a team yet. I talked to the girl that I worked with that was on my team. I had a talk with her and I said, "Hey, I'm going to start up a team." And I felt the urge to start up a female team because growing up watching Taps, Ghost Adventures, all them shows, you never seen just females out there. It was always the guys or one female with them. And I felt a strong urge from spirit to do this. And so I told her, I said, "I'm starting up a team." I said, "I'm going to call us, we used to be called Ghost Sisters of Marion, Ohio. And I only tacked on Marion, Ohio because I didn't want to sound like we were, the Ghost Brothers. Have you heard of the Ghost Brothers? I didn't want to sound like them. So I tacked on the Marion, Ohio. But later on, we were told to take that off because of people knowing where we were from. And we didn't want people to follow us. You just never know with people. So we ended up taking it off, and it's been great. But it wasn't, Ghost Sisters the name wasn't founded on sisters, even though I have sisters that do this with me. It was founded on me being in law enforcement, and in law enforcement, we call each other sisters, brothers. You know what I mean?
Aye.
And the girl that I worked with, she ended up joining my team at that time. She's not on the team now, but she was in the beginning. So, and then later on, I actually had my older sister join, and she had been on the team since the whole beginning, and it just kind of went from there, and we just kept growing.
I've watched a lot of ghost shows. I've got another question for you in a wee second or two, Mandy. I watched a lot of ghost shows. You say, Ghost Adventures, Taps, etc. But there are other ghost shows out there with male and female members in it. And some of these shows, the spirits seem to go for the females more than the males. Do you find, because you've got a group, you're a lady group, you get a lot of activity, if that makes sense?
I think depending on the location and what's going on, definitely when us ladies are out there, we are drawing in a lot of the men that flirt with us.
Mm-hmm.
We do bring in a lot of children are really drawn to us. Well, women are more sensitive, but I have been with a lot of paranormal investigators that are men that are real sensitive too. I mean, really sensitive. So it's really hard to say. I just feel like females, depending on the situation, we do bring we attract different things, I think, depending on the situation.
I think it's a good idea as well. Hi, Craig, buddy. A lot of these shows, no disrespect to them, but it's all guys, and some of them are kind of ego-driven, macho and stuff like that. But having a group of women, I think it's more an appeal because I think these are more laid back. So there's no macho kind of let's do this and kind of thing, if that makes sense. And I think that brings a kind of different angle to it. Craig's got another question for you, which is actually a good question. It's something I was going to ask you as well. Everybody's asking you my questions, right?
I wouldn't say we really had a battle. I can just say when I started to do the spiritual writing, that was something different that people are like, "What is she doing?" Because I'm being moved around all these different directions, and they're like, I did have some people say some things, about mediumship and doing the spiritual writing, but I try not to let those things affect me. Because it hasn't been easy coming out of the closet, so to speak, for mediumship, especially working in law enforcement. That was not easy to do. but I don't let it affect me. Now it's just like I'm very open about it. I really don't care. It just doesn't affect me now.
I would Craig's made a good point as well, and I sometimes I think as well that anybody can call herself a medium. Anybody, as we know, way back in spiritualism began. The Davenport brothers, they were caught out, faking stuff. They were mediums and stuff, and anybody can sort of stand up and say, right, I'm a medium. I can talk to dead people, basically, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that would make it hard for somebody who has got that genuine gift to turn and say, right, well, do you know what? I'm a medium. In case they get tainted with the same brush as these other ones, if that makes sense.
Let me see here. So it's almost like it does. I get it. A lot of anybody can say they're a medium. They can do this and that, but you really you better be able to back it up. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
And as far as the representation of it, from the last question, I think a lot of mediums do get bad reps also because there's a lot of people who don't back it up or, and it kind of gives us a bad name. But if you can back it up, and a medium's never 100%, you might be 80 to 85% of the time. It just depends on, how high your vibrations are that day, how you're feeling that day, how well you connect with someone.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there is a lot of them that do get bad names because they're actually just portraying to be that. You'll definitely know if someone is.
Bill has got a question for you all.
What would be the ultimate goal and accomplishment in the paranormal? My ultimate goal, because the paranormal and doing, spiritual readings to people, this is my passion. The goal for me is to get an all-female team out there to get us girls noticed, to get any females out there noticed. Anyone who's a medium, come on out with it. Don't be afraid. I just want to see more things happen for females that are in this field. It'd be nice to see female team get on, have their own TV show for once. I'd love for my team, and my goal is to actually open that doorway for female investigators.
Because it does seem to be male kind of driven. There's a lot of male teams and stars, whatever you want to call them. You say it is good because it's not just men that are into the paranormal, as everybody knows. We're a community, male and female, etc. And we should, go on, try and help each other, learn from each other. As you say, get women up there on TV, team, etc., the same as men, because there's no difference, Laura's got a question for you.
Oh, how do I feel about that? Well, it's just, I get it. A lot of people, they look at mediums as, witches and things like that. I look at it like this. I actually believe that God put all this on me for a reason, because I'm meant to do. I get it with the paranormal thing, but the thing is, if I can help a spirit out, then I'm going to help a spirit out, help a person who doesn't understand the paranormal, who might have some negative things going on in their home and they don't understand how to, handle it. They don't know, they don't understand. I just think that I'm a Christian. I'm definitely a Christian, and I wear this cross around me every day of my life. And I just hate that people do look at us like that. How can you do this if you're a Christian and whatnot? But you can't let that get you down, because all of my experiences that I've had in my life, I know that there's a reason why I'm doing everything I'm doing. It is hard though, because you do get a lot of backslash at you. people who are like that, especially when I'm doing readings. I will get a lot of people, this is not in the Bible, you shouldn't be doing this. But who else gave me these gifts, right? That's how I look at this. Why? I mean, I'm doing a positive thing, for people, for spirit. I'm helping spirits the best that I can. I'm passing messages to people from their loved ones the best that I can. I do a lot of live readings for people, and they get free readings from me. I'll give anybody free reading. I used to do free readings for many, many years. And
as you say, you were given your gift. You didn't go to the store and kind of buy it or something, and if you can help people, then to me, the paranormal is not just about finding out is there life after death. Can we get a photograph or proof of a ghost? It's also about helping people, whether they're this or the next. And if you can help somebody who's maybe struggling, and to pass over, to cross over fully, then that's what you should do. It's all about helping people, physical or spiritual. As you say, somebody gave you the gifts. You didn't go to the store and buy them, and you got them for a reason. Why we've got them, and it is unfortunately the conception of some, church people who, because it goes back a long, long time. If you could communicate with the dead, you were a witch, and you were made a deal with the devil and all sorts. It is unfortunate some people still feel that way today.
Well, I'm going to be writing some books here soon on my life story. It is quite interesting. I have a daughter, and I won't put my daughter out there. I won't say which daughter it is, but I do have a daughter, and she is very, very gifted. She has seen things that would blow your mind. She has seen angels. She has seen them, and it really blows my mind. And I really feel that people who can do these kind of things, it had to come from somewhere. It had to come from somewhere.
Yeah. Donna's asking, how do you rest and restore your body and mind from the voices?
Meditation. Lots of meditation.
just to recharge your batteries. Gail?
I say I have learned a lot doing investigations. I'm a real stickler on things because, there's no such thing as pareidolia. And a lot of times in these pictures, your mind, you're meant to see shapes and images of faces and stuff. So people, a lot of times they'll pick these pictures apart and they see faces. But remember, there is pareidolia. And then you have some people who see orbs when it's dust. And, you have to, what I've learned is if you're using a night vision camera, it can make dust flicker and it will get your attention. You will actually think you're seeing an orb, but it's just the night vision camera can do that to dust, make it flicker. So it just depends on how they investigate. There's really no right and wrong, to each his own on how they do it. Who am I to say how someone else investigates, how they want to investigate, how they want to investigate, how we investigate? Nobody really does it the same. Everybody does their own thing. There is a right and wrong, I suppose. You could look at it that way. Some people might do it wrong depending on how they're going about it, if that makes sense to you.
No, it does make sense. I mean, when we go investigating, we are kind of laid back, we're always respectful. We do take serious what we do, but we believe that you need to have that wee air of humour about, because I think the spirit enjoys that as well, rather than just get, a team that come in and uniform, they're strict and serious, and you know, I think Spirit will attract more to a team who are kind of laid back, just normal, basically. You know, and we go out and we just do it. We don't have any set routines, nothing. We just take it as it comes. And we've been really, really fortunate in the last 4 investigations that we've had really good results. We've been lucky that we've came across it's a big estate, 280-acre estate near where we live, that we are going to be really digging into, basically. And we've had some fantastic results there. And it's just by being laid back, just being normal, you know. Always, sometimes you get an investigation and you've got a rough idea in your head, right, we'll do this tonight and we'll try this, see what happens.
It goes that way sometimes.
It goes that way. You know, once, as we say over here, once in a blue moon, you know, it might go that way. But 99% the other times, it doesn't say, okay, I was going to try that, but I'll leave that, we'll do this instead. And I think that's what makes it fun as well, because it's unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're going to get, and that builds up the kind of excitement as well. What do you think, Mandy? You think the unpredictability sort of builds up your feelings as well?
I think if people did the same type of investigations all the time, it'd be boring. You got to kind of change it up a little bit, you know, to get different communication from spirit. But definitely don't. I think if you're going in being disrespectful, and this is just my opinion, you know, then you're going to get a disrespectful response from a spirit, and then that person might think, oh, we got an evil spirit here, or negative. No, they're going to treat you how you treat them. You know?
It's not a negative spirit, it's just a peed off spirit, basically. But I think, you know, having a wee laugh and a joke amongst yourselves, it helps spirit kind of come through. We got a question for you from Ralph, a team called GSI. We're working with them. We're filming them next month. They're actually on Paraflix. Ralph's one of the co-founders here.
Yes, during my live feeds, there has been times that I had messages that I needed to pass, but I didn't want to talk about it because it was personal. So I would just tell that person during the reading, I don't want to talk about, you know, I don't want to say what Spirit's saying to me, just have them message me, whatever, and I would tell them. But during just a one-on-one investigation or reading, I don't hold back. I tell them everything I receive. But during the live readings, I'm very careful on what I say from Spirit, you know, because it can be very hurtful to that person and personal, but not when it's private. I let it all out of the bag when it's private reading. They're getting it all.
They're getting both barrels, as they say. They're getting both barrels. Stephen's got another question for you, and I'm going to ask you about your investigation last night. What's your take on teams of activity in every investigation?
You know, I can honestly say that we have never walked away without getting some type of evidence. I think it just depends on what they're looking at as evidence when they're investigating. You know, because everybody has a different aspect to what evidence is that you're collecting when you're doing a paranormal investigation. Could this be you're getting maybe you're getting a classic AEVP? You know, maybe you captured something on a video, or maybe someone might think they got a lot of evidence if they were having responses to the K2, the REM pod, you know, things like that. So I think it just depends on what the evidence is that you've collected from your investigation.
We've collected quite a wee bit of evidence this new location, and we have, there's not that time before, the last time we ever get tons, but the time before we picked up on, we got a woman's voice, a whisper. It didn't come through the neck of it didn't come through any app, it was actually in the room with us. We sent it away to several different people, GSI included. We never said anything about it. We just said you're going to listen to this and tell us what you think. You hear, and they came back and says a woman's voice. It's like 4 words. She's saying, we've never been able to work out what it is she said, but we have picked her voice up maybe 4 or 5 different occasions on this recording, and we don't have a clue what this woman's saying. There's Craig, another. You're going to lot of questions tonight, Mandy, which is good.
That's fine. Keep them coming. I love it. Oh, good question. Yeah, I like to go in blindfolded. I don't want to know nothing because I want to have clear validation from spirit. I don't want to know. I'm not the one that does the research. Jenny, she's on our team, and Jenny, she actually is a realtor, and she looks up a lot of like whatever place we go to, she looks up the history on it. You know, being a realtor, she'll go way back and look up, you know, these places, and she gathers all the information and makes a video. And I don't like to know anything about it. Even when we go in, you know, to do a tour, if we do a tour, I ask the person giving me a tour, please don't tell me anything, no names or anything, because I don't want to know. So I think it's better to go in not knowing than knowing.
If you go on, what do you think? I mean, obviously we're called Paranormal and History because we cover kind of both, but we cover history in general. Not, you know, it's not just a history of certain locations. We just cover kind of, you know, like way back to Pendle Witches, Tudor times, you know, Henry VIII and everything. How important do you feel that history is to the paranormal and vice versa? History in general.
I feel that it is important to know some history on, it depends if you're going to, if you're doing a residential case, I believe it's very important to know the history, the land, who lived there before. Maybe not as so much as these buildings that a lot of investigators pay to go to, you know, it really just depends on the group. But if you're doing a lot of lives like us, we go live during our investigations. It's very important to our viewers to know the history because they want to know where you're at, what happened, what's going on. So yes, I think it is important, most definitely.
You see, that's part of the reason that we chose to do the history with it, because I'd watched a lot of investigations, and there was quite a few groups that would go to, you know, for example, a church, they'd be outside a church, and they would start investigating, but you're sitting there watching it thinking, well, where is this church? How old is it? Is there any major events happened in history at this church? You know, can I have a clue? And just to get that wee bit of information about it, saying, well, it dates back to the 1100s kind of thing. It was built by the Saxons, stuff like that. You know, I think is really, really helpful. But you had your investigation last night. I watched it earlier on. You were very busy by the looks of it, with a lot of different spirits coming through. Tell us about last night, because it looked really busy.
Yes, we were at in Gallion, Ohio, at the Gill House. It's a mansion built from the 1800s, and I had actually went with another team, Straight Paranormal. They're also another team based out of Ohio. I was the only ghost sister there last night because sometimes the girls can't make it, and sometimes, you know, you just got to do what you got to do, and you go. So I was the only one, and I ended up doing some alone investigations, and then I joined the other team. But it was very active. I didn't pick up on anything negative, demonic, or anything like that. A lot of happy spirits. I had a lot of children coming through. I mean, they were setting off all my devices. Yeah, it was really active, and it was a really good night. Happy spirits. There was also some in the library room where I was doing one of my alone investigations. The light was on because I had to go grab something. So I left the light on and I came back in, and there was white orbs going through the live feed. There was also a blue orb that was seen with the lights on. Now, I did not see this at first until I went back and watched the live feed. You were seeing these orbs. It was really active.
You also had the judge as well. We spoke about it before the live. Somebody kept coming through saying they were the judge.
Yes, through a device that we use a lot it's the ink box, and the ink box is just this looks like a boom box from the 80s, and it's a really good device made by Katie Stafford, and it sweeps really fast through these channels, so you're getting different waves that come through, and so it's not supposed to be picking up channels like radio stations or anything like that. It's not like an SB7 spirit box. It's different. It has different bands that you can band one and band is depends on the band that you're on for spirit to get a good connection. But this device is amazing, and we get a lot of clear responses that come through, especially when you're hearing them respond to a question you're asking, and you're dealing with an intelligent spirit. When you're receiving these questions that you ask and they're responding to you. And I would say, who's here with me? Because I was picking up on a man. And I actually picked up on this man when I was in the attic alone. And that's when the judge first came through the ink box. He goes, "I'm the judge." And I was like, "The judge?" I'm trying to think, why would there be a judge here in the mansion? But he kept telling me he was the judge, and he followed me to the library. He came through again. I asked him, "Who are you? What is your name?" And he said, "The judge."
And nobody had any idea who he is or who he was, whatever.
Because I didn't want to know, the history in the place. The other team that was there, I asked him, I said, "I keep getting a man coming through who says he's the judge." I said, "Was there a judge here?" And they said there was. So.
And he seemed quite very, very prominent.
Yes. And I connected with a spirit named James. I believe his name was James. And I connected with the female spirit, the children's spirits, multiple spirits in this house. But I would say it was almost like there was more children than there was, males and females coming through. So many children.
Do you think maybe, there was excitement on the children's part because, maybe finally here was somebody who could pick up on them. So it was like a kind of rush for the kids at the same time. As you get in real life, kids will come over and just kind of run around your ankles and stuff. You're like, whoa, get back a bit, let me breathe kind of thing. Do you think it was that kind of scenario?
They were closing in. At first, I was seeing, now how it works for me, I'm not the type that walks into a room, "Oh, I see a spirit standing over there." No. How it works for me is if spirit wants me to see them with my eyes, like I see you, I will see them. And I have had this happen to me quite a few times, but I see them in my mind. My mind's eye there, my third eye. And right away, I was picking up on 5 spirits I was seeing. And I mentioned on the live feed, I said, there's 5 spirits around me. Well, through the ink box, a man comes through and he says 8. And I'm like, "Oh, are you guys behind me?" And I think through the ink box, it said, yes, they were behind me. So that was really interesting to me because I was only, my mind's eye seeing 5, but they were telling me 8.
I'm going to make a total fool of myself here, but I don't care. When I was watching your live, you've got I found out, we were aware it was called the witch box, the one that was doing the witchy laugh.
Oh, the little witch, yes.
First time I heard that, I actually thought it was a child. I just heard us laughing, and I thought, is that a child's laughter?
Yeah, it was laughing, but I had to be very careful because, if you get too close to it, it will trigger it. I had the ghost over here away from me on this side, so there's no way I was triggering the ghost that was on the other side. And the witch was over here on the chair. I was a good distance, but when I would put my flashlight over there, I noticed it was triggering it sometimes. And I was only putting the flashlight on there so people could see, because on the tablet, there's not a light that can turn on for them to see. So I was using the flashlight and I noticed, I'm like, this keeps going off. Is this really the children? So I realized that sometimes when it was going off was when I was putting my flashlight on it. So then I stopped putting it on there and it didn't go off as much, but it was going off. But the ghost on the other side was going off. You heard it all the time.
It was, as I said earlier, it was quite a busy night. There was so much happening. And I noticed the cat balls were going off constantly as well in the background. You see them going constantly. I know a lot of people, some people don't like the cat balls. You know, we use them and we've had quite a bit of luck with them. What's your opinion of them?
I love the cat balls. You have to literally, I have tested a theory on the cat ball because I'm very, you got to be careful with all these equipments, the REM pods, the K2s. Your phones can set these things off if you're too close. You know, the ink box can set off things. You got to be really careful. So I like to keep things from a distance. And the cat ball that we have, I have had it on the ground. You have to really go up and stomp like right up on it, and it would feel the vibration because you have to touch this cat ball. This isn't one like if you wave your hand around it, it's going to trigger it. No, you have to touch it. So if you're stomping on ground around this little light cat ball, it will feel that vibration and it will light up. So, you know, when you have it on the ground, you're not jumping around or anything like that. You're being still. At least I am when I'm investigating. I'm not trying to walk all over the place when I have devices on the ground, because some of my devices, like the Geo phone, picks up on movement. So you got to be careful with that. If you're walking around, it'll pick it up just like that. But I think the cat ball is an amazing thing to use. And I know a lot of, the Tennessee Rafe Chasers, they're the ones that actually turned me on to the cat balls when I did an investigation with them 3 years ago. They were using them and they told me, they said, Mandy, these are really good to use during your investigation. And I was like, oh, wow, I got to get some. And they really are. They really are.
We use them a lot. I love them, and they are quite solid. You know, I've thrown them across the grass and they don't go off. You know, and they are really, really solid. So the last few investigations we've had to go off constantly. Laura's asking, I'll just pop it up for you. What have you captured your best evidence on, and what was it?
We have caught apparitions. Yes, we have. I've got a few videos that are on our Facebook on Ghost Sisters. We were at a haunted brothel in Indiana, and we actually captured on our night vision cameras it wasn't a full body, but it almost looked like it was headless. You could see from the shoulders down. You see this walk right by. And that was amazing. We tried to debunk it over and over. We did it on the live feed trying to debunk it. We had the caretaker come help us try to debunk it. We could not debunk this. And it was very transparent. You could see through it, but you could see I couldn't tell you if it was a man or a woman. I don't know, but you could tell it was a figure that just walked right in front of the camera. And we've captured dark spirits, actually. I was doing some spiritual writing at a haunted location at a school in Ohio, and spirits were telling me to stop. They kept telling me to stop doing the writing, and I continued on. I should have listened to spirit because they started taking me over, and I started feeling numb. I started going numb. It was a bad experience, but it was good writing. So after I did that writing, we were going downstairs. Spirits were on me. I got overwhelmed. I was crying, talking about the children. I've never had spirits attack me like that so bad, like I did at this location. So they had to get me outside of the building. I look up in the window and I see this black figure standing there. I'm like, oh my gosh, it freaked me out. So we go back in And later on throughout the night, we went into this one room, which was called the creepy room, the creepy crawler room. We had a night vision camera set up in there. Me and another person went into this room, started investigating. Didn't have a lot going on, a lot of cold breeze going on around you, but we decided to get up and move. I'm walking out, this person is in front of me, and all of a sudden I feel something rush up on me. And I said it, I'm like, and we were live. I'm like, oh my God, I felt something just rushed up on me. And at the same time, they were seeing this on the cameras downstairs. They watched this black thing rose from the middle of this floor. You can see it. We got it captured. And it rose up from the bottom and it got real big. It was like a huge blob and it just rushed out at the door. It was really, really freaky. So, yeah, we caught numerous things. I could go on and on. So many.
That sounds freaky. Would you say that by evidence you try to debunk and debunk, you can't? Do you find the more you can't debunk something, the more excited you get? When you try, every option you try, you say, no, we can't debunk that. The kind of excitement builds another little bit.
Are you saying if I can't debunk it, do I say it's paranormal?
No, what I mean is, for instance, we done an investigation in here one night and we had the laser grid up against the wall behind this PC, and Sarah was looking through the footage the next day and we caught this figure. It was like a split second cutting through the grid. We slowed the ride down and it's a human figure going across the wall. There was only Sarah and me in here. The doors were all shut. The daughter was in bed. We tried everything that day to debunk that laser grid, and we couldn't do it. And everything we thought of doing, once we found out, well, no, that's not. You get another wee buzz. You think, well, maybe this is, paranormal.
You mean you kind of doubt it, and instead of thinking it's paranormal, you kind of wonder if it was you guys?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there has been, when we did capture the one apparition at the brothel, there was a couple members like, could that have been one of us? After we tried to debunk it, they would think, well, maybe it was one of us and we just don't recall, you know what I mean? Us walking through or something. But no, I always stood by. If we couldn't debunk it, I always stand by that. I believe that is some paranormal evidence. But that's my opinion.
No, I agree with you. If you can, if you try every avenue you can think of to debunk it or whatever, and you can't think, and you maybe ask other people to try and they can't do it, you think, well, what else? What else can it be? Am I right in saying you got another podcast in 20 minutes? Is that right?
Nope, no podcast. I just do live readings on Appalachian memes.
Right. No, I'm watching the time for you. I don't want to keep you back because I know after we come off the live, I want to keep a hold of you because I know Gail's wanting a wee 2-minute word with you. We'll need to bring you back if that's all right.
Sure.
Because there's more I want to ask you. We can arrange another date, but we'll cut it short there because we're over the 60 minutes. And I know Gail's waiting patiently, and plus you've got other stuff to do, Mandy. But I'll just hold on to you. A big comment for Deborah before we go.
Good sisters are doing. Oh, thank you, Deborah. She's one of our followers, and she's awesome. She's investigated with us before. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you do it, man. Just before we go off, I'll let you plug your Ghost Sisters and your bits and pieces. Tell people where they can find you.
Okay, if you're looking to have a mediumship reading, or if you want to catch me doing some live readings, you can go to my page on Intuitive Medium Mandy. You can also find me on YouTube, so you can go over there and subscribe. If you're into the paranormal and you're wanting to watch our live feeds, go on Facebook to Ghost Sisters and follow us. And also you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
everywhere.
Everywhere. Ghost sisters are everywhere.
And if you're going to do it, folks, watch last night's investigation because it was really good. Well, watch them all, but make sure you watch last night's first. If that makes it really good. And you'll see Mandy struggling with a big bag on her back.
Yeah, about fell over.
I think she'd half the town in her back. I don't know what she was having. But we'll leave it there. See, I'll hold on to you for a wee minute after we come off, Mandy, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
Laura's wanting you to come back.
Most definitely. I will definitely come back.
We will have Mandy back. Don't worry, she's not getting away, folks. Don't worry. So thanks for coming in, everybody. We hope you enjoyed a wee chat with Mandy. She really is a really interesting and remarkable lady. But that's us. We're not back live till the 23rd when Sarah and Jennifer will be doing the Winchester House again. The rest of this week we're out and about scouting the location, what have we. So take care for now, everybody, and we'll talk to you all very soon. So take care. Bye. Bye.